everyone, welcome back to the video. In today's video, we will talk about the dissertation outline and chapter-wise word count distribution. So if you are someone who has spent hours staring at the blank document wondering how to write 20,000 word count dissertation and is completely unaware of how much word count should go in which section and what to actually write in which section, then this video is for you. So let me tell you, the professors do not actually hand over a strict word count distribution booklet or instructions to you. Actually they don't, but they do expect the proportions. So in today's video, I will cover what all word count distribution is made for each chapter along with what exactly is needed in each chapter. So we will start this with assuming that we have to write a dissertation of 20,000 words. We will start with the chapters first. First was the introduction, chapter number 1. Chapter number 2 is literature review. Chapter number 3, methodology. Chapter number 4, results and findings. Chapter number 5, discussion. Chapter number 6, that is conclusion and recommendations, in which we actually write both. So now talking about the word count distribution. If I am supposed to write a dissertation of 20,000 words, so I will go with 10% of the total word count in the introduction chapter, which totals to 2,000 words in introduction. Now comes the second chapter, literature review. It is actually the most weighted one, and we write about a quarter of the full quarter of the assigned word count, which is going to be 5,000 words in this case of a 20,000 words dissertation. Next, coming to the third chapter, which is methodology. In this chapter, we will write approximately about 3,000 words for this chapter. Chapter number 4, in results and findings, we will write 4,000 words. I will tell you in detail why is it more than the methodology. Now coming to the next chapter, which is discussion. In discussion, we would write 4,000 words again, and the conclusion, just like introduction, 10% of the total word count, which is 2,000 words in conclusion. So when you will total up this will come up to 20,000 word count. In 20,000 word count, we do not consider the word count of the abstract. Abstract is always written in the after once you've completed the dissertation, which means at last, but in a structure and formative way, it is written at first, just after the table of contents or the cover page. So it is written the first, even before introduction we write abstract, but it is always written at the end, because the content of abstract can only be written once you've completed the entire dissertation. Now talking about what will we write in each chapter and what does each chapter signify. The very first chapter is introduction. In introduction, we start with writing the background of the topic that you've chosen to write a dissertation on. We start with writing the background, and then we proceed with writing the problem statement, aims, objectives, the hypothesis which you are taking, if you are taking any hypothesis. In case there is no hypothesis, then we move forward with writing aim and objectives. Note here, there is one aim of a dissertation, but in order to achieve that aim, we may have multiple objectives. So you have to write all the aim and all the objectives that you want to do to achieve the aim that you have set. Now followed by this, we have a research question. You will write your research question, which is actually what you've decided to work on. What is your actual research question? Along with that, you will write the significance of the study, why this study matters, why are you conducting the study, and what importance does it hold. And after the introduction comes the second chapter, which is the literature review. In literature review, it is a very common misconception that we write the summary of the existing research that have been done on the topic. So let me tell you, it is not about the summary of the previous research done. It is actually about the critical evaluation. You have to critically review the studies, the research that has been done on this particular topic. What were the strengths? What were the limitations? What were the gaps that were not filled? Every chapter of literature review that ends with the gap which you've identified after critically reviewing different authors' studies is the strongest literature review chapter. So the last statement of your literature review chapter should always be telling the research gap that you are addressing. So like I told you, you will critically review different authors' works on the same topic, and you will identify their limitations, their strengths, what methods were used in their study, and why are you conducting this study. Now coming to the third chapter, which is methodology. In methodology, I'm sure you all must be aware of the research onion, right? There are different layers of the research onion. So you start with the outer layer and you start putting in one parameter of the research onion in your methodology section. In this section, you basically write your research philosophy, your research method, which kind of study are you conducting, primary study, secondary study, qualitative, what methods are you adopting, qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods, how are you going to collect the data. So let me tell you, methodology section is divided into two parts, the data collection method and the data collection as well as the data analysis. So in this methodology chapter, you will mention what data collection methods are you choosing. Is it primary study or secondary study? Because the data collection methods largely depends on whether you are carrying forward, you're taking out primary study or the secondary study, and then what type of data are you looking forward to, the quantitative, qualitative, or the mixed method. So the data collection methods are different for each of them, and if you want to know the details of the data collection methods, you can comment down below and I'll give you the details in the next upcoming videos, or specifically on the methodological chapter. Now coming to the rest of the content of methodology. Now like I told you, you will tell about the data collection methods and the data analysis methods according to how you have collected the data. Now coming to the fourth chapter, which is the results and the findings chapter. This is the chapter where you will actually tell your results, all the graphs, tables, all the the charts will go live in this section, and you will talk about the result of your findings, or you will even talk about the findings in this section, but you will actually not interpret the data. You will just document your findings, what you found out after conducting this study of a particular topic that you've chosen. In the next chapter, which is the discussion chapter, you will interpret those findings, the findings that you've just mentioned in the previous chapter, which is results chapter. Now you will interpret those findings and you will back this up with the literature. You will link your findings with the literature. So this is where the importance of the citations and references go. You will link your findings to the references with the other authors' works, and you will give the proper citations and references, of course. Now talking about the last chapter, which is conclusion. This is actually about the summary of your key findings. You will summarize what you found out, in what were your key findings of your study, the contribution, the limitations. You will have to accept the limitations in the conclusion chapter. You will accept the limitations of your study, followed by the recommendations. What do you recommend for future practice? What else is required, and what are the recommendations based on the findings that you found out in your dissertation? So this was all about different chapters and the word count distribution. I hope you liked this video and you would want to know the details of each chapter, like I have just given a gist of what goes in each chapter. I hope you will comment down and let us know if you want the detailed description of what goes in each chapter.